All Her Fault. What was it about the project initially brought you on board?
Well, the actors, like the cast is incredible. Dakota Fanning, Sarah Snook, to begin with. I love the book. I had actually read the book before I met with the producers. It's a great novel. It's an incredible story, and I like solving problems. And this show, I was hired pretty late into the process, and I think part of the reason it was late is they were really trying to figure out what they were going to do with their music, and so it was very fun. It was a great team. I like the idea that none of our characters are really, it explores the complexity of human beings. You know, the capacity of someone to make a very difficult choice and you can justify it, but maybe you're doing the wrong thing or maybe you're not. It's easy to judge people, but a lot of people in our story are in these sort of no-win situations and they do the best they can or what they think they should or really what they want to do. And I like the complexities of those kind of people. I think that's interesting to explore in drama.
Yeah, what were the challenges of then doing the ambiguity of each character and their themes?
Well, I give you, for example, obviously Peter, the husband, is an obvious one. We learn at the end who he really is. But even he's complex, he all along the way, he can justify what he does. Another one I really love, we talked about yesterday on a panel, this Detective Alcarez in episode 4. A lot of times this guy would just be a functional character. He goes and gets the clues and moves the story forward. Turns out he has a son with special needs, and there's a wonderful scripting in his story where basically in order to get his son in a school that he really wants to get him to, he is basically being asked to do something very illegal with some evidence. And it's kind of just a Sophie's choice morally that he's got to make between, maybe doing the best for his son or maybe breaking his own code of morality, and it's just so heartbreaking, but it's also so relatable because we often find ourselves in this type of situations where there's a hard choice, whether it's some sort of hardship or economic hardship or a family member. This is real life, and so I like movies and films that sort of mirror that honest complexity of life.
Yeah, I was sort of touching on that. We have a lot of composers in our audience that watch, young composers.
Oh, well, love that.
What is there any other scene in your show that you're most proud of? A subtle scene, maybe not one of the glamorous big ones, but something was subtle, like you really with the music kind of umped it up a little, and maybe audiences wouldn't notice it, as much if they didn't know music.
Good. Well, the one I'm really proud of that's a bigger scene. It's easy to notice at the end of episode 7 when Carrie walks into the water, and you kind of learn what happened to her, and it's this beautiful sort of almost religious piece. But I would say a quieter scene I'm really proud of that's very important. In the first episode, Sarah Snook and Dakota Fanning find themselves in this bathroom at an event at their kids' school, and they wore the same dress. And they sort of have this beautiful, warm moment of connection emotionally, and in the midst of the horror of what's happened, it's a flashback, but you have this sort of, hey, there's Harry Gregson Williams. I gotta say hi, Harry. I just saw him in Prague. How exciting is that? But in the middle of this mystery thriller, you have this beautiful moment of connection, and I found a theme there that was very useful. I'm very proud of that because I used it several other times to really detail this friendship, and it's a good example of how the warmth of a storyline in the middle of something that is largely, designed to thrill you and keep you on the edge of your seat and guessing in mystery land. It can kind of make the ride more interesting for the audience. It's not always all about just climbing to the next emotional, narrative peak. Sometimes it's contrasting it so that when you come back, it feels new and sudden, and you can surprise the audience in an interesting way.